Okay guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry, and today it's early morning. I'm going to be baking sourdough bread. So it's a flavored sourdough. Here's my starter. You can see all the air pockets. It's happy. I fed it last night and it is ready to use. So it is very, very happy to come to the party. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get a 3/4 of a cup. And the bread we're making today is, oh, look at that. Look at that. That's what you want. Mine, if yours is a little thicker than this, that's great. This is the consistency I like to keep it at. You can have it thicker or thinner, whatever you like. This is all up to you. But as long as it's, well, like mine, I had it in the proofing oven, and when I opened the oven door, I could smell the sourdough, the fermentation. I could smell it. It smells wonderful. And so, yes. So anyways, if anybody's interested in purchasing a sourdough starter, let me know. My email is down below. You can email me your address, and I'll let you know how you can get a hold of some. So, okay, and I send you the starter, the dehydrated starter, but I also send instructions on how to, bring that back to life in your own kitchen. So this goes over here, and I've got my starter there. I'm making a big batch. So this bread that I'm making is a rosemary garlic, and I'm going to use smoked Gouda cheese in it. Very often I make rosemary, garlic, Parmesan, and mozzarella, but I'm going to use smoked Gouda today. So that's what you're going to see, and we'll give it a whirl. So approximately 2 cups of water, and I don't get too exact because I'm saving, and this is filtered water at a tepid room temperature kind of thing. Okay, I am going to add yeast because it boosts everything a little bit faster for me. And this is a 1/2 tablespoon measurement. I'm going to go ahead and do about 1.5 of those. So about 2 teaspoons, basically, 2.5, or a packet of yeast. You figure that out however you want. I'm going to get this now with my Danish dough or Danish whisk. I'll get this cleaned off, and then we'll get to mixing. You just want to kind of roughly mix that together. This is going to go over in the sink as well. And I just get everybody acquainted, and I don't wait for the yeast to proof or anything else. I know it's going to be fine, and I get started on my bread. If you wanted to proof your yeast, you could, but I've already got lots of action going on in here. So then for this batch, and this makes 3 loaves of bread, 3 good sized loaves. Okay. For this amount, I use 5 cups of flour, roughly. It doesn't have to be exact. Again, I'm not measuring in weight. Okay, so our forefathers really didn't have that. They didn't have access to all that. My grandmother, and is that 4? I'll know, I guess, by the time I mix it together. She didn't weigh her flour and she didn't weigh anything out. So she did it by measurements, but it was also by feel. And bread, to me, that's what bread's all about. It's by feel. So, okay, let's get this shaggy dough. Now, but this point is when I add the salt. So I'm going to add my salt. Where's my spoon? I'll use that same measurement. And I'm just adding fine sea salt. And the flour I'm using is a red wheat. I'm going to use about so almost a tablespoon of salt, about 3/4 of a tablespoon, if you want to get, technical. I'm using red wheat, organic red wheat flour that I get at Costco, and it is phenomenal. It makes really, really good bread. Okay, so you're just gonna whisk this. If I have to, I'll add a little bit more moisture, because I do like it a little bit on the wet side. So I'm just gonna pick up all the flour, and once it's trying, yeah, I still need a little bit more. I might have gone a little heavy on the flour, but it also depends on the humidity in the room, everything. And I've got to add my garlic and my rosemary. I almost forgot. I got very carried away. So about 2 tablespoons of chopped up fresh rosemary, and I'm using organic. Get these organic rosemary. Now we're gonna add the garlic, and it's 2 heaping tablespoons. And I use the minced garlic in the jar. I found it's better, and I don't mind if a little juice gets in there either. Maybe, you know what? This one's gonna be extra garlicky. So about 2.5 of those. It actually keeps the bread very moist. Freeze-dried garlic is too strong. And just garlic powder isn't enough. And yeah, so that's how I'm doing it. And I can see the doughs are already trying. And that will get mixed in there better, because I've got to knead and fold this dough. So now I might have too much moisture in there. So now that it's catching everything. But I'm going to be adding flour to this when I knead it, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's already getting some strength to it. See how that is? Okay, I'm going to cover this with my cling film, and I will let this rest for about an hour in the proofing oven. I'm going to let it rest, let it really rehydrate the flour, and then I'll come back and do my stretching and really get those gluten strands strengthened up. And that also causes that chewy texture to happen. And then I'm going to go for 2 or 3 stretches like that every half hour, and then I'll show you what I do next. How's that? Okay, so this has actually been in the oven, just kind of hanging out, doing the auto-lees for about an hour, because I got in the shower, and so I've got, my fingertips are wet. I'm gonna pull it away from the bowl. It has actually gotten some rise going on it, and I'm gonna stretch. Rotate my bowl, get my fingers wet again. You want a very wet, sticky dough so it can get those air pockets. Stretch and fold. Wet, sticky dough. Give it another turn. Pull it up, and it's got quite a bit of texture to it from just being, this is the first stretch. I'm kind of excited about that. And so this is basically a form of kneading, and you're also working that rosemary and garlic in there, right? And let me just tell you, it smells like garlic. And I'm only gonna do 2 of these kind of stretches, and then I'll do my final knead and shape. Oh, yeah. Okay. There you go. Okay. Pretty clean. It's sticky and wet, and that's what I want for big, nice air pockets. Part of this dough, I'm gonna go ahead and overnight ferment it in a banneton, and then part of it I'm gonna bake off today. So you're gonna see the results of two different ways here, and then 2 different, results. Okay, and I'll be back. Okay, so you can tell this dough has doubled in size. And I didn't spray the saran, which is okay. you can get that, actually pull that dough right off of there. So you're not losing any. Again, I'm gonna get wet hands. Get that dough a little bit wet. I want really lofty, airy loaves. So I'm gonna come around. And this is where those bowl scrapers come in really handy. So I'm gonna grab one of my bowl scrapers and just get in here. You can get that wet too, but it really doesn't need to be. I just want to get it all off the sides. So I left and went to the store. So it's been in the oven well over an hour on the proof setting. So it definitely has gotten some, you know, it's doing its thing. It's doing its thing. So now that I've got that, I'm gonna wet my fingers again and I'm gonna do one more stretch. I've already done this twice. So this, actually, I don't think it's gonna need, more than that. I wanna get some of this baked off. There's a place near my house and it's a business and they actually wanting to carry my dough or my bread. So I'm gonna go give them a sample loaf of this. See how nice that is? Oh, you can't see. See, it's getting some stretch to it. It's not quite window pane. It's still kind of falling apart. See that? That is not ready. That has not been kneaded enough. There's not enough gluten strength yet. So I'm gonna go ahead, stretch and fold. You do how you want to. It works for me. And then turn the bowl. And I'm only gonna leave it in a half hour and then I'm gonna come back and do this again a half hour from now. So we're gonna put that saran right back on, same one. It's totally fine. Cover that up and it's gonna go in the proofing oven. Boy, if I can get it to hold onto the side of the bowl instead of the top of the bread. Okay, there we go. And your hands aren't that bad. They rinse off really easy. It smells amazing with the garlic and the rosemary. Oh my gosh. So aromatic. So beautiful and aromatic. Okay, in the proofing oven it goes. I'll be back in a half hour. Okay, so it hasn't been quite a half hour, but I'm gonna do my final knead and some shaping here. I'm gonna get a little bit of flour down on my board, okay? And a little down on the top of my dough here in the bowl. Just to help get that, not much, just a real light dusting on top. So then I'm gonna get my handy dandy scraper and get this turned out of the bowl onto the board. And then we can, oh yeah, look at that. It releases pretty easily. It's trying to be its own unit of dough, not falling apart anymore. So set that over there and literally I'm gonna dust this lightly. I don't want too much, I don't want to incorporate too much flour because then we won't get that big air pockets that I want. So just a little bit. Okay. And if it's sticking to your board, go ahead and spread some more flour around, right? And yeah, this is a nice dough ball. Pull up my sleeves a little bit. Nice elastic dough ball. So you can see I didn't add much flour at all. And if it does stick, just kind of come around and we're gonna divide this. So let me get my scale and I'm gonna divide and conquer to shape. So like I said, one of these is gonna go into the Banneton or a couple little Bannetons. I got some 5-inch Bannetons for little bowls. And so I'll do that. And now when you do your stretch, I've got a much stretchier, I can get it to where I can see light through it for sure. They could use a little bit more, but that's what you're looking for, okay? And then we're gonna stuff this with beautiful, oh my gosh, so yummy. Let me get this dough ball weighed really quick. And we'll need a piece of saran wrap for that. And there we go. So just keep kneading. I'll be back when I'm weighing this dough and dividing it up. Okay, I am done working this dough, and I'm gonna see how much it weighs. Okay, put this that on, and the whole dough ball on. Should be 3 something. Yep, 3.37. So take that off. I'm gonna divide this into 3s, and that gave me a little bit of sticky on my hands. Okay, it's really trying to get that flour. It's wanting more flour. I don't want to give it more flour. Okay, so I'm going to do this in thirds. So I need 1 point. What do I need? 1.3, right? Or no, yeah, 1.1, 1.10, I guess. That's too big. Believe it or not, that is too big. So we'll get a little bit of flour on these. I'm gonna leave that one the way it is. And we're gonna get this one, because those will go in the small containers, I believe. The small bannetons, the round ones, the 5-inch bannetons. Well, it's really trying to give me fits here. There we go. Get a little flour, making a little mess. But bread messes are fun messes to have in the kitchen. Let's see how big this one is. Okay, hold on. Nope, that's a little bit too big. Okay, I'm gonna pull some off of this one. And we'll call that good. Now a little more flour. Dust these bad boys up. This one will, I want to see how much this weighs now. Nope, that needs to go right about in half. I make smaller loaves for a little bit smaller loaves, okay? So this is like 1 pound of dough right there. These are a little over. So I'll put these 2 smaller 1 pound in the 5-inch bannetons. I'm gonna set this one over here, and this one, we'll get this off the bench. And it can rest over here on the plastic as well. Okay, and then I'm gonna shape these. So, now I'm gonna keep pulling it towards me. Okay, that looks like it's gonna be perfect. So, these little bannetons, I just sprinkle them with flour on the inside. I like the ridges that it leaves. If you don't want ridges on your loaves, then by all means put the fabric little things in there. I'm gonna wanna dust my dough top and bottom I don't want it sticking in that. I'm gonna put it right in there. One of these is gonna slow ferment. This one, I'm gonna go ahead and shape this. And this one, I'm gonna bake off right away, just like I am the other two. But I will put it in the refrigerator. Okay. Trying to cause some tension to the outside of that ball. There we go. And you're not gonna, this is not gonna be perfectly smooth because you have chunks of garlic and rosemary. So you're gonna tip this upside down, just like that. Your top. These are gonna go in the refrigerator. Okay, so that stays just like that. Let's get these guys formed over here. And I feel like this is one of the most important steps for me, is to get these nice dough balls. Now because I'm gonna be stuffing these, so these are gonna be plain rosemary and garlic. Ooh, you know what? No, it's not. I have to go back. I have to change my mind. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Here we go. I have got to get my smoked Gouda out of the refrigerator and my rosemary. I almost blew it, you guys. I almost blew it. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. Because these are gonna have smoked Gouda on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and take these dough balls back out of the banneton. I could just do a plain rosemary and garlic, but look how it's already forming those nice lines. So all we're gonna do, I'm gonna do this side, is now it's gonna have to sit here and rest. Okay, it's gonna rest. We're gonna let it rest. Once this dough is rested and it's not springing back like that anymore, I'll bring you back. I'm gonna get some rosemary leaves off. I've got shredded smoked Gouda. Absolutely delicious. And we're gonna get this done. I almost forgot what I was doing. Okay, I am done working this dough. And I'm gonna see how much it weighs. Okay, put this that on. And the whole dough ball on. Should be 3 something. Yep, 3.37. So take that off. I'm gonna divide this into 3s. And that gave me a little bit of sticky on my hands. Okay. It's really trying to get that flour. It's wanting more flour. I don't want to give it more flour. Okay, so I'm going to do this in thirds. So I need 1 point. What do I need? 1.3, right? Or no, yeah, 1.1, 1.10, I guess. That's too big. Believe it or not, that is too big. So we'll get a little bit of flour on these. I'm gonna leave that one the way it is. And we're gonna get this one, because those will go in the small containers, I believe. The small bannetons, the round ones, the 5-inch bannetons. Well, it's really trying to give me fits here. There we go. Get a little flour, making a little mess. But bread messes are fun messes to have in the kitchen. Let's see how big this one is. Okay, hold on. Nope, that's a little bit too big. Okay, I'm gonna pull some off of this one. call that good. Now a little more flour. Dust these bad boys up. This one will, I want to see how much this weighs now. Nope, that needs to go right about in half. We make smaller loaves for a little bit smaller loaves, okay? So this is like 1 pound of dough right there. These are a little over. So I'll put these two smaller 1 pound in the 5-inch bannetons. I'm gonna set this one over here, and this one, we'll get this off the bench. And it can rest over here on the plastic as well. Okay, and then I'm gonna shape these. So, now I'm gonna keep pulling it towards me. Okay, that looks like it's gonna be perfect. So, these little bannetons, I just sprinkle them with flour on the inside. I like the ridges that it leaves. If you don't want ridges on your loaves, then by all means put the fabric little things in there. I'm gonna wanna dust my dough top and bottom. I don't want it sticking in that. I'm gonna put it right in there. One of these is gonna slow ferment. This one, I'm gonna go ahead and shape this. And this one, I'm gonna bake off right away, just like I am the other two. But I will put it in the refrigerator. Okay. Trying to cause some tension to the outside of that ball. There we go. And you're not gonna, this is not gonna be perfectly smooth because you have chunks of garlic and rosemary. So you're gonna tip this upside down, just like that, your top. These are gonna go in the refrigerator. Okay, so that stays just like that. Let's get these guys formed over here. And I feel like this is one of the most important steps for me, is to get these nice dough balls. Now because I'm gonna be stuffing these, so these are gonna be plain rosemary and garlic. Ooh, you know what? No, it's not. I have to go back. I have to change my mind. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Here we go. I have got to get my smoked Gouda out of the refrigerator and my rosemary. I almost blew it, you guys. I almost blew it. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Because these are gonna have smoked Gouda on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and take these dough balls back out of the banneton. I could just do a plain rosemary and garlic, but look how it's already forming those nice lines. So all we're gonna do, I'm gonna do this side, is now it's gonna have to sit here and rest, okay? It's gonna rest. We're gonna let it rest. Once this dough is rested and it's not springing back like that anymore, I'll bring you back. I'm gonna get some rosemary leaves off. I've got shredded smoked Gouda. Absolutely delicious. And we're gonna get this we're gonna get this done. I almost forgot what I was doing. So I've done my final kneading. I portioned my dough out. These are a little over a pound. I wanna keep this off the board. And I'm gonna need my other bench scraper because I want a wider edge and sharper, kind of a, I don't know that it's sharper, but you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna get my dough. I've let it kind of rest here. I'm gonna get it all flattened out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's more workable. This dough ball is just resting in here. I've got the other two on the side here. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead, because it's already got the rosemary inside the dough and the garlic. So I'm gonna get some of this cheese, smoked Gouda, just like that. Just a you know, it doesn't take much, just a layer of that. And, oh, yum. Okay, then we are going to roll it up, okay? Just like this, just like that. Seam side down, just like that, perfect. And then I'm gonna take my metal bench scraper and I'm gonna cut right through the whole thing, okay? And you guys, if you've watched any of the other videos, you've seen me do this. And this technique, Patty from Alderman Farms, she's the one who showed me this. And it makes a really interesting loaf. So I like to cross mine over first and then cross them over again and twist, okay? So it's a twisting effect. Then I'm going to put rosemary leaves, because we're gonna put these in the Banneton. So I've got a few rosemary sprigs. This tells people there's rosemary inside. It makes it beautiful, right? Okay, and it's aromatic. Okay, now I'm gonna get this off of the board here. And I'm gonna put this pretty side, whoops. We're gonna get this right in there just like that, okay? No, we're not. We're gonna do it the opposite way, sorry. And I'm sticking, oh no. Okay, get some flour down here. Because this is gonna be, the bottom is gonna end up your top. So put it down in there the best you can. I'll show you another one so you can see. And this will be the bottom of the bread when it gets done. So off to the fridge that goes. Let's get this second one out of here and we will get this to relax for us. I'm gonna give this a couple minutes and we'll keep doing, well, no, I'm just gonna do this in real time for you so you understand the concept of the Banneton. Whatever goes in the Banneton ends up to be your top side. So could you do it the other way? Sure, I think you could do it that way too. You could leave it. Okay, I feel like I've got enough there. Grab some cheese. Just cover, you know, however much you want. We don't want it too much, but you want to be able to taste it throughout the dough, right? And it adds some oil to the dough. Okay. And get this rolled up. Oh, then I'm flicking cheese. Hold on. This is definitely a messy job, but oh so rewarding when you see what comes out of the oven at the end. Okay, seam side down. Cut this bad boy lengthwise. And there we go. It's so pretty. Oh, I'm super excited. Okay, make sure it's not stuck to the board too badly. And you're gonna cross them over, seal up those ends, cross this over and seal that. So now that we've got that, I'm gonna flour the Banneton really well. Let's try this one. We'll do it the way I originally thought I was gonna do it. And we'll bake this one this side up and the Banneton side down. Okay? I'll put it in the Banneton just like that. And put some rosemary leaves on here. Yeah, yum. So pretty. Okay. These are going in the refrigerator. When I bring them out, you'll see the difference. This one will come out. It will be a Banneton side with all the pretty stuff going on. If it'll come unstuck from the, yeah, I think it'll be fine. So these are going in the refrigerator. I'm gonna leave one of them in there until tomorrow and bake it off tomorrow. But this one of them is gonna be baked off today with the other breads. So I've got 2 more to shape and get stuffed. And these will go straight into the Dutch oven. So they are going to, I'm gonna shape them. I'm gonna preheat my oven right now and get the Dutch ovens all screaming hot, because as soon as I get these rolled out, I'm gonna want them to go into the Dutch oven. So, whoops, last loaf. So this one is on the parchment, just like that, all braided up, twisted, whatever you want to call it. These were a little bigger than the other 2 dough balls. Same thing, I just cut it spread out, put some Gouda on here, as much or as little as you want. Smoked Gouda is the bomb. So if you're selling this, it adds a little cost to the bread, but oh man, the flavor, people will pay it. They'll pay what you want. So I will show you when I'm done and tell you what I charge for them and what I'm willing to make them and sell them for. Because, you know, I want it to be worth my time. So obviously seam side down, right? Get our seam down and then cut this bad boy all the way down the center like that. And one right over here. Kind of let this separate, but you know, roll these over a little bit. Just like that. So they twist and want to open up. Okay, so there's that. If you want to put a little extra cheese anywhere, you can, but it's not necessary. There's a lot of cheese in there. So I do want, though, rosemary sprigs. That tells people there's rosemary in it. It can be the single sprig. It could be, you know, just needles. Very pretty, right? There you go. A couple more here. And you are ready to put it on your parchment. The oven is almost preheated, so we're getting ready to get busy here. Okay, and we're good. I think that's perfect. Don't want to waste any rosemary leaves. And I do like to put a little sprinkle, just a little. I don't want a lot, but I do, it adds something to the look of the bread. So now I'm gonna take this and just bring it over here to my parchment, just like that. It's gonna sit. When my oven is preheated, it's almost there. I'm preheating my oven to 450. I found that if you do it hotter than that for the flavored cheese breads, they tend to get a little bit too brown too quickly, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm doing it 450. They'll stay covered in the Dutch oven for 20 minutes, and then after the 20 minutes, I'll take the lid off and really just monitor it. You want your bread to come to an internal temperature of about 195. There's still some carryover cooking, so 195 to 200 and golden brown. All right. next, I'll see you back when I'm taking the lids off. I'll show you. Oven's preheated, and now I'm gonna get my my Dutch ovens. They've been in here. Ooh, yeah, they're hot. They've been in here with the oven preheating. So literally, this is all I do. I take my dough with the parchment and I plop it right down in there. I take my dough with the parchment and plop it in that one. It's hot, so be careful. And I put my lid back on. I could actually hear some sizzling, so you know your Dutch oven's hot. Okay, and now we wait. 20 minutes from now, I will turn on the oven light. 20 minutes from now, I'll take those lids off and I'll show you what I got. Guys, this is gonna be a little bit awkward, but woo, look at, so 20 minutes in, that's what it looks like. Isn't it beautiful? I do not, ooh, it's steamy. So it gives that nice oven spring. It just, right there. So I'm gonna put a little, I'm knocking my oven down too. I'm gonna put a little parchment there. I'm going to, on both of these, just so they don't get overly brown. And I'm knocking my temperature down from 450 to 375 start. And you could even go to 350 if you wanted. But back in the oven it goes. And we'll close it up. I'll be back in about 15, maybe 10, 15 minutes. Okay, so here's the one small loaf. These are really nice. Ouch, they're hot though. Super hot. This one, I'm pulling that out. Doesn't always work. Sometimes I need a little help with this one looks a little bit bigger. But oh my goodness, look at those rustic loaves. And they've got the rosemary on top. It's absolutely wonderful. So I'm gonna put these Dutch ovens back in because I actually am going to cook those bowls off. I've got the bowls in the refrigerator. They've been in there for, oh, you know, an hour or so. I'm gonna preheat these Dutch ovens again and we'll bake off those bowls. By the time they're done, these will be ready to deliver. But I wanna show you, let's see, I'll show you as good as I can. The bottom is brown. Cheese, if cheese melts underneath there at all, it does get a little brown, but it's not too brown, so that's good. So I think the trick is with the cheese to cut that heat back to at least 375 and even down to 350. Your bread is gonna be happy anyway. It's already done its oven spring. You don't need to cook it at that high temperature. So I've got a couple rosemary leaves that just bit the dust. And these need to cool. You don't want to cut them while they're hot. They need to cool. And so I'm going to take them though to deliver them warmish. They will still be, just tear it open and have a bite. Okay, and I'll show you the crumb in just a second. Oh well, it'll be a second for you. It'll be about an hour for me.